Greetings, YouTube. So as at the time of this filming, it's a two-man race for the president and the Democratic nomination. Um, we have Biden and we have Sanders. Uh, and it should come as no surprise, I'm a Bernie Sanders fan. I voted for him in the primary and helped him over the top in that particular endeavor. I voted for him in 2016 in that primary as well. I wanted him to run for president, and if he had run for president, he would have won. But I did, of course, vote for Hillary Clinton because I didn't want a Republican, let alone an overt white nationalist in the White House. But that's what we got, thanks to racist white people. At this point in my life, I essentially don't want to have contact with any white people over the age of 40 because I can't trust them. 63% of the men and 54% of the women in the middle age and up category of white people in America supported white nationalism. So I just can't risk dealing with a white nationalist. I don't want to talk to them. There's no arguing with them. There's no debating that. The vile nature of their ideology has been known since the Civil War. So yeah, we don't need them flat out politically, and I don't need to talk to them. But we're down to a two-person race, and I don't like Biden. Biden supported a segregation measure at one point in his career. He opposed Roe v. Wade at one point in his career. He lies. He's a war criminal thanks to his efforts along with Obama to just murder people via drone. I don't want him as president. I will, of course, vote for him over the shit given. That goes without saying. It's like I voted for Clinton. I will vote for Biden. But I want Bernie Sanders to be the candidate, because if Bernie Sanders is the candidate, he'll win, just like he would have won in 2016. And the world would be a much different place if Bernie Sanders won in 2016. Now, one of the things I find interesting at the moment is Elizabeth Warren. Now, I don't like Elizabeth Warren. She used to be a Republican. And there's an old saying, when you lie down with dogs, you get up with fleas. You can't shake that off. She has avowed publicly that she supports capitalism. Capitalism is the problem. It is not the solution for anything. I don't like Warren. And I'll cut her slack on the whole Native American thing, because she told a family story and discovered the hard way that family story was bunk. We've all heard family stories that end up being bunk. I just would have vetted it better if I had been a politician, I think. But it is what it is. I've heard a myth that one of my ancient ancestors was hung for being a horse thief. I don't think anyone's going to call me on that if I actually say that out loud. If in fact that person was not hung for being a horse thief and was hung for a different reason, I don't think it really matters. I don't know who they are. I didn't know it was back in the old country somewhere. I'm not sure what happened. But that's basically what she said. Just she got herself screwed because she, in fact, is not Native American. But I find it fascinating she hasn't backed anybody yet. Now, if she actually believes in even the barest hint of any of the progressive platitudes she's thrown at her supporters, and I fully believe they're platitudes. I don't know if I actually believe she has a single progressive bone in her body, that she's just becoming the most accessible Republican out there, like Buttigieg and Bloomberg were attempting to do. Is it Buttigieg? I can't remember. He's gone. Who cares? I think she's vying for a VP slot. And I think she's holding off her endorsement until she sees where it could be spent best. Because she'd be a smart choice for either Biden or Bernie. Bernie, of course, would bring in all of her supporters and really solidify the progressive movement. Because a lot of people think of Warren as being progressive. I don't think of her as being progressive, but if other people do and they support Bernie because of that, cool. And if Biden gets the nomination, she will again pull in some of her supporters and maybe even peel off some of the Bernie bros to support Biden, which will help him, because Biden, this is about as exciting as white bread. There's no movement behind him. And I am absolutely baffled why anyone would vote for the man. He is business as usual, status quo. Nothing will change with Biden in the White House. No billionaire will pay another penny. We will not get Medicare for all. The things that Bernie wants to do that will help America, help us save money, help us save lives, help us save us ethically and morally, because we will be heading in the right direction, in the direction away from the shit Gibbons policies. Biden isn't going to change any of that. It'll just be business as usual. Because he's a center-right conservative, just like Obama, just like Clinton. And I want left. And Bernie is barely past the midpoint towards the left in American politics. Now, I realize everyone looks at him and thinks he's Karl Marx. If you look at the political spectrum from an international standard, Bernie is not that far left from the center. He is center left. He is not far left. And he calls himself a democratic socialist. And in American political spectrum, he is. And I call myself a socialist. And by the American political standard, I am. By European standards, I'm just barely a socialist. So I'm intrigued to see what Warren does. It's a two-man race at this point. Warren wants to make sure she backs the right horse. And she wants that VP slot. She'd be stupid not to. There's a lot of political power in that. That could cement her place in history as being the first female VP. So I think she's just biding her time. Get it? Biding her time. And waiting for the right moment to throw her lot in with the person that she thinks has got a chance of winning and throwing them over the top. We're going to see what happens. Because even if I don't like her, she's pretty much a shrewd political animal.